Hey, what's going on, guys? I was able to turn it sideways the last few streams, but all of a sudden my orientation is locked even on my cell phone. Not sure what the deal is, but anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm not sure if Chris White's doing a Night's Owl stream or not. That's one reason that I'm doing this live stream, and I'm doing it on the Anglo-Zulu War, and doing it on the Anglo-Zulu War, talking about the battles, particularly Isandawana and Rorke's Drift. And the war started on January 22nd, 1979. Just hang on one second. And talking about the Anglo-Zulu War. And the Anglo-Zulu War happened on, it started on January 22nd, 1879, and it ended on July 4th, 1979, as well. The Zulu fought well, and they fought very hard, and I firmly believe that the Zulu were the good guys in that war. The British wanted to go into KZN, KwaZulu-Natal province, and because there were a lot of diamond resources there. Now, keep in mind, the diamonds did belong to the Zulu because it was on their land, but at the time, the diamonds were not being tapped, they were not being mined. But nevertheless, the British shouldn't have gone in there. So the British went to King Cetshwayo and asked for permission to go travel in there and travel into the mines and eventually take territory. And Cetshwayo, the king of the Zulus at the time, said, no, I'm not going to do that. You respect our boundaries, we respect your boundaries. So Cetshwayo had said no. So there were, on January 22nd, 1879, there were people from the British Army as well as the Native Natal Corps, which consisted of a lot of rival tribes to the Zulu who fought for the British because they disliked what the Zulu were doing, what the Zulu had done to them in the past, excuse me. And so what had happened was they went into Isandawana, and they sent the Zulu created a diversion, and the British commanders thought that was all of the Zulu army. So they sent part of the contingent to go chase the Zulus down, but that was just the diversionary force. So then an overwhelming force of Zulus went to the Isandawana camp, and they went to, and then they did the Shaka Zulu military tactic. They charged straight at them, part of the regiment, but then the other two circled around them, and that defeated almost all the British. Very few British people survived, maybe 20 or 30 at the most. And the 20 or 30 that did survive, most went across into British territory and went to the British outpost on British territory called Rorke's Drift. And they told the British commanders what had happened at Isandawana. So the British prepared their defense at Rorke's Drift, and the British held out. Now, Cetshwayo didn't order the attack on Rorke's Drift. It was faction. Only one Zulu regiment did that, and they went and attacked Rorke's Drift, even though Cetshwayo said never chase the British into their own territory, never ever attack British outposts that are on the British line or past the British line. But they ignored their king's orders, and they tried to attack the Rorke's Drift outpost. And even though the British were outnumbered by far, they prevailed at Rorke's Drift. 11 British soldiers had won the Victoria Cross for their heroic stand at Rorke's Drift. The Zulus had broken to the hospital at Rorke's Drift, and they killed many of the sick and wounded patients. But the John Williams, who was a private in the British Army, he fought enough Zulus off to allow enough of the sick and wounded patients to escape, and the only way they were able to escape is because other British soldiers tore a hole in the wall of the hospital, and they were able to escape through that hole. And they actually did that for a few more walls till they completely held off the Zulu. Now, the British lined up and anticipated one last big attack, but all it was the Zulu came and they saluted the British for their heroic stand. So I like how the descendants of the British soldiers and the Zulu warriors go and meet about every 5 to 10 years at Isandlwana and at Rorke's Drift. I really think that's a very awesome thing to do, and to try to reunify. We need to stand united as people, not be divided. But anyways, how are you guys doing? How's everything? Hope you guys are doing well. I understand the main reason, like I said, I'm doing this stream is because I'm not sure if Chris White's doing a Night Owls edition or not. So thanks to all the people who have tuned in here, and yes, so the Anglo-Zulu War, like I said, is a big part of South African history, and I believe that you guys need to we need to remember it. And I'm cat sitting the cat right there is one of the family cats right there, tuxedo cat. Her name's Squirt. We have had, the reason is because she was only like 2 weeks old when she showed up at my family's house many years ago. But cat sitting, this is my dad's cat actually. So there she is right there for you guys. Very pretty cat. Yeah, and she's like family to us because we've had her ever since she was like 2 weeks old. And that was about 14 years ago when she showed up at our house. So yeah, okay. And for Rainier Dutois says, hi there, sir. I'm still awake here in South Africa. Yeah, Rainier Dutois was talking about the Anglo-Zulu War, the battles of Isandlwana and Rorke's Drift. And I firmly believe that the Zulus were in the right there, but like I said, the reason I think many Afrikaners supported the British during that time is because they were so distrustful of the Zulu for what the Zulu did to them at Blood River and prior to the Battle of Blood River as well. But the Zulu should have not encroached into British territory at Rorke's Drift. The King Cetshwayo specifically forbade them to do that, but there was a regiment of Zulu warriors that ignored that order, and the Zulu paid the price for it. They lost too many warriors trying to take that outpost, and it wasn't that key of an enemy position, to be honest with you. And that's why I firmly believe that you guys should see the movies, both Zulu and Zulu Dawn. I've seen both of them, and I highly recommend both those movies. I really and 11 British soldiers were awarded the Victoria Cross at Rorke's Drift for their heroic stand at Rorke's Drift. Now, they got their ass kicked at Isandlwana, and they were annihilated by the Zulu. And they encroached on their territory in Isandlwana. I kind of really don't blame the Zulu for doing what they did at Isandlwana. All right. Now, shift issues to America with what's going on in America. All right. Biden's Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, Rachel Levine, I don't even know if it's a man dressed as a woman or if she's had a sex change, but she's a transgender woman named Rachel Levine. And Rachel Levine, now her being transgender is her business. That ain't my business. But the reason that I'm not a fan of her is because when she headed PEMA, which is Pennsylvania Emergency Management Association, with the COVID-19, she was largely responsible for moving a lot of Pennsylvania COVID-19 patients into nursing homes with older people. And she said, well, she didn't know how bad COVID was at the time. She didn't necessarily know what she was doing. I don't buy that, because her 95-year-old mother was in one of those nursing homes. And before she did that, she pulled her 95-year-old mother out of that nursing home. And a lot of senators have raised questions to President Biden for appointing this man or woman. I don't know what she is, because I don't know if she's had a sex change, or I don't know if it's a man dressed as a woman, for appointing this, what I'm going to call she, to a position of Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services. Because I firmly believe, now this is my personal opinion, I firmly believe she has blood on her hands for how she handled the nursing homes in her home state or interstate of Pennsylvania. She's not originally from Pennsylvania. So that's my question. I'm not upset because she's a transgender. I'm up to call it it. Yeah, you're right, Rainier. That's why I call it it. Blatiern says, hey there, sir. Hey, guys. How are you guys doing? But yeah, I guess we'll call her it, because I'm not even sure if it's a he or a she. I'm not trying to be mean here, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, but I firmly believe she's got blood on her hands for how she handled the nursing home situation. One thing I think Democrats and Republicans are happy about, though, with the Biden presidency, we're hoping we can get back to an aggressive situation with North Korea. About 70 to 80% of Americans have opposed President Trump's meetings with Kim Jong-un in Singapore and Vietnam. The meetings really got nowhere, and North Korea is steadily building up their nuclear arsenal. Under President Bush, at least, and to a certain degree under President Clinton and Obama, North Korea wasn't building as many nuclear weapons because of the approach that we took towards North Korea. Not completely, but it was a lot better under those previous three presidents than it was under President Trump. Plus, President Trump didn't exactly do South Korea right. The reason the U.S. pays for most of the defense in South Korea is because if North Korea ever attacks, the United States has operational control in that situation. They have full command over the South Korean army if North Korea ever attacks. And President Trump didn't, I don't know if he didn't know that or if he just knew and didn't care, but that's one thing we're hoping is different. Now, the Antifa and many Black Lives Matter supporters, and many, particularly in Seattle and also in Portland, Oregon, they are still not satisfied with the Biden presidency. I guess they think Biden's too conservative, or they say they're not governable. Not governable. Okay, this is crazy. They trashed an Amazon store in Seattle, and they trashed it, burned it, and looted it. And never mind that Amazon provides thousands of jobs, if not millions of jobs to people. And they burned and looted those areas, and they say, we're not governable. They're like a bunch of children. They want government handouts, which they do. They want government handouts, and they want the government to take care of them. But then at the same time, they don't want to obey any government laws or any government regulations. You can't have it both ways like that when you're an adult. That's like a 2 or 3-year-old. If you don't want, the government telling you what to do and you say you're not governable, why always have your hand out to the government? That's just crazy asinine thinking. And props to Chris Wyatt and Sean Hannity for both reporting on that. I think Sean Hannity did it yesterday. Chris Wyatt did it today with his stream. And if you're going to, that's just, like I said, a bunch of 2 or 3-year-olds, and basically Antifa and Black Lives Matter, I firmly believe, are both thuggish organizations, and they're thuggish Marxist organizations, if you want to know the truth. So thanks to the 2 likes right here. Really appreciate it. Like I said, it was cloudy and rainy today. I was going to go out to the lake so you guys could have a better background, but that's just, it's just cloudy and rainy today. That's just not the case. But I'm going to go, I guess, about 10. I'm going to go about at least 5 more minutes, but maybe 10 or 15 more minutes as well. See who tunes in. But thanks to the people who have tuned in. Thanks for the 2 likes as well. All right. We'll get to, get back to, I'm going to ask you guys, I don't think the ANC still has a plan for the vaccines, for the COVID-19 vaccines for the people that want them. I don't think they do. It seems like they still don't have any plans to distribute the vaccines. They say that they're buying them from the National Serum Institute of India, and to give them credit, that is much better than going with the Sino vaccine from China. The Serum Institute, which manufactures the AstraZeneca vaccine, should have a vaccine for you guys that's 70% effective against the virus. But the ANC doesn't seem like they have a plan to distribute the virus. To distribute the COVID-19 vaccine. They say they do, but they just say one time it was the first half of 2021, then it was the first quarter. They have not set a time frame for you guys to get the vaccines, which I firmly believe is a disservice to the people. The ANC put their party ahead of the country of South Africa. Most of you guys probably already know that. Cyril Ramaphosa admitted it. He admits to putting that he's an ANC cadre member first, and that he's a South African second. And I believe that to be true, unfortunately. And the ANC it comes first for all ANC members, and they're going to get the vaccine probably way before you guys do, and then they're going to want the top 6%, well, the only 6% of South Africans that pay taxes to pay for all the vaccines, unfortunately. So that's a crazy situation. Well, look, I've been going about 15 minutes and I've got 2 likes. It seems like only one person is now tuned in. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. And I hope Chris White does a Night Owls edition, but he went nearly 2 hours with his live stream today. So I'm not exactly sure if he's gonna do so or not. But anyways, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye bye. Bye bye.